Hey there, friends. I'm here to talk to you today because Jim James Music asked me to lay down some info for him and for everybody because he's getting back to music after a long time and he's got people throwing stuff at him, as we all do. And it can get confusing, right? And today's music world is confusing. So he's like, well, what do I do? How do I start this whole thing? How do I get my stuff up on the web, et cetera, et cetera? All right, I'm here to tell you. So really briefly, you got to be really coordinated. You have to be really driven. You have to be really focused because people are trying to blur your focus and distract you. So here's what you got to do. You still got to have a website. You got to have a website. You got to tell people who you are. You have to have an excellent bio that's almost bullet pointed, like why people should care about you, where you've been, what you've done, who you've worked with, what you sound like, who you were influenced by, and maybe talk a little bit about what music you've made before. Don't get too crazy. Don't put them to sleep. That's why I say bullet point. And then it's also a good place to put up like tour dates if you're out playing, even if it's local stuff, put it up there, right? People need to know. And also to put announcements up for new releases and have some samples of your work, right? That's what I did at my website. I'm not going crazy because I've been doing this for 32 years and people can find my music in a lot of different places. But if you're just starting out, you want them to hear stuff, like give them a taste of what you want them to hear, what you think they need to hear to get inspired to follow you or probably, hopefully, buy your music. So that's number one, get a website. Number two, Bandcamp. Start a Bandcamp site, whatever, for Jim James, right? So it's Bandcamp/Jim James Music. And put up stuff regularly. Put up demo stuff for free. Put up live stuff for free. Put up whatever moves you in hope that it'll move your audience and put it up for free and say, look, if you download this, all I want is your email. I don't do that because I don't care. Like, again, I've been doing this for a really long time. I've got a pretty good fan base and I'm very fortunate and I'm very thankful. But if you're starting out, you're going to need to build a database, a mailing list/database. So I will give you this for free if you give me your email. That's it. Done deal. And you'll find, like I think in my Bandcamp, I've got a few hundred people that have done that. I don't even ask them to do it, and I still got a few hundred people who have done it for stuff that I've put up for free. So think about it, right? Like if you only got 50 people, that's 50 people you didn't have before, and you're enticing them every month with something new and different, something unpredictable that they can't hear anywhere else. That's why I say put demos, put live stuff, put half-written songs. Like, so, hey, like this is something I'm working on. YouTube, do the same thing, right? Go on YouTube, show people your process, show people how you live, show people who you are. They need to know to invest in you. And in shorter format, you can do that on Instagram, you can do that on TikTok. You have to be on all the socials. Yeah, I know it's a pain in the butt. You got to do all of them. But they're all different, right? So TikTok is basically a short form. I have a few friends who are like huge on YouTube, right? Like hundreds of thousands of followers. And they were complaining that they couldn't get it together on like, what's the problem? Why aren't I getting hundreds of thousands of people on TikTok? Because as we all know, it's a different format. It needs a different approach. So I would study all these things, like Instagram Reels are kind of a big deal finally. It's taken years, but people are into them. Those are very different because they have to be under 3 minutes, but the most successful ones are under 1.5 minutes. The best TikToks are under 1 minute, but YouTube rewards people for longer form things, over 10 minutes, even over 20 minutes, which I think is crazy. I try to keep everything under 10, but that's what they reward. People need to know who you are. So you need to be on you need to have a concerted plan for each different format. You got to have your website tight. You got to be on Bandcamp. You got to be on, have a certain, and you can record stuff for YouTube that then you can chop up and use for Instagram and TikTok. That doesn't always work, but you can do that. But you actually should, the best way to go is to have a plan that's YouTube centric, that's Instagram centric, and specifically for TikTok and any other format. Share on Threads, share on Facebook, share on whatever, right? There's so many different formats. You gotta get ahead of that. And you also, the other thing is, especially for me, is some years ago, somebody was trying to use my name and sell themselves as an artist using my name. You have to own your brand, right? So you need to have your name out there on all this. You need to identify yourself and establish yourself for your brand. So next thing, and this is what Jim was referring to about, well, how do I get my music on all these platforms? You get on all the platforms. Like we use Symphonic, right? But you can use CD Baby. You can use all these different services that will get your music out there. And then it'll be available on iTunes. It'll be available on Amazon. And if you wish, you can stream. My recommendation is not to stream until you've had the song out for at least a few weeks, maybe longer. Sell first, stream later. Top Music Attorney, she said this on all of her platforms. You should listen to her. She's really smart. And I've been saying that for years. So, of course, I agree with her. Sell first, stream later. But yes, there are services that you can sign up for. I don't know what the best is for you. Like I said, we use Symphonic. That's the best for me. But whatever it is for you, they will distribute your music, your digital music, to all these different platforms, and then you get to collect. SoundCloud. Tease people on SoundCloud. Don't put up the whole album. Put up a few songs, or put up moods, right? Like, these are my sad songs, or these are my party songs, or these are my bangers, or whatever. But don't put up the whole albums on SoundCloud, because you might as well have it, I guess, on Spotify, since we're not getting paid much for Spotify. Again, though, sell first, stream later. And then last but not least, before I make this particular video too long, this might have to be a series of videos, promote. You better get ahead of each release. Every single song that you put out, you better get ahead of, because these playlists, they need it weeks in advance. You need to get it to journalists months in advance. For booking, for gigs, they're now booking gigs a year out. So you have to be really coordinated and stay ahead of every facet so that you don't get eaten up, because there's a lot of competition. There's way more competition today than there ever was in my day. And there was a lot in my day. There was 2,500 albums a week being released when I started. Now there's 250,000 a week being released. So there's a ton of competition. You got to stay ahead of it. You got to be coordinated. You got to be focused. But that'll give you a start. Let me know if you have any more questions.